Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalabha Kati Sadma. Bandho mohe savadana mate. Jahara prasade bai e bhava toriya jai. Krishna prati ho ja hote. Guru mukha padma vakya sitete koriya kya. Arana koriyo mane asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Utama Gati. Je prasade pure sarva asha. Jakudan dilo je jamne jamne Prabhu se. Deve jan de prakasito. Prema bhakti jaote arvijan vinasa jate. Vediga jahar karito. Shri Guru Karana Sindhu Ajama Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karana Sindhu Ajama Janara Bandhu. Lokena dokera jivana. Lokena dokera jivana. Ah, Prabhu koro doya, deho more pada chaya. Ah, Prabhu koro doya, deho more pada chaya. Jaya. Ebejas kusuk tribhuvana. Ebejas kusuk tribhuvana. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Shrila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Shrila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutade Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prastatari Satarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Must sing for 6 more minutes. Oh, okay, okay. Namaste Narasingaya Praladadadayine Praladadadayine Hiranyakashi Purvaksha हिरण्यकाशी पूर्वक्षः श्रीरातङ्कानकालाय श्रीरातङ्कानकालाय ito nishringa parato nishringa ito nishringa parato nishringa yato yato yamitato nishringa yato yato yamitato nishringa bahir nishringa hridaye nishringa bahir nishringa hridaye nishringa Narashringamadim saranam prapade Narashringamadim saranam prapade Dava karakamadavare nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tano Brindam Ke Shavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nashringadev Jaya Nashringadev Nashringadev Jaya Nashringadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Nrsimhadev भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, गौ प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवाला जय गिरिवर धारी, जय गिरिवर धारी, जय गोपी जानवाला जय गिरिवर धारी, जय गिरिवर धारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तेरा वनचारी, यमुना तेरा, यमुना तेरा वनचारी, यमुना तेरा, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवाला जय गिरिवर धारी, जय गिरिवर धारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तेरा वनचारी, यमुना तेरा वनचारी, यमुना तेरा वनचारी, यमुना तेरा, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय Radha Radha Nath Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Sham Sundar Radha Sham Sundar Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jaya Ke Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhava Tume Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhava Tume Jaya Nithai Gora Sundar Nithai Gora Sundar Gora Sundar Jaya Nithai Gora Sundar Nithai Gora Sundar Gora Sundar Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Nithai Gora Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Nithai Gora Hare Bol Oh Nithai Gora Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Nithai Gora Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Nithai Gaur Sundar ki Jad Guru Shila Prabhupada ki Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol
Hare Krishna. So let's all raise our hands and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare. So it's a great pleasure to have all of you here for our midday love feast program. A warm welcome to all you devotees that are coming to our new Jagannath Puri temple for the first time. So today's class will be done by Her Grace, Jalangi Mataji, Mataji by profession is an educator. Sometimes she stands in as temple president and is the acting vice president of our new Jagannath Puri temple. So Her Grace Jalangi Devidasi Mataji ki jai.
Their Lordships Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Nitai Gaura Sundar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. So Hare Krishna. Like Damodar Prabhu has said, very warm welcome to all of you to the Sunday Love Feast program. It's very wonderful that of all the things you could be doing, you choose to be here today. That speaks volumes to your commitment to your spiritual life. Today's class will be based on the nectar of instruction. So we'll say a few prayers first before we begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from the Nectar of Instruction, text 2. Atyahara prayascha prajalpo niyamagraha Jnana sangascha lolam cha sadbir bhakti vinasyate. Please repeat after me. Atyahara prayascha prajalpo niyamagraha Jnana sangascha lolam cha Sadbir bhakti vinasyate. Ati ahara, overeating or too much collecting. Prayasa, over endeavoring. Cha, and. Prajalpa, idle talking. Niyama, rules and regulations. Agrahaha, too much attachment. Or agraha, too much neglect of. Jnana sangha, association with worldly minded persons. Cha, and. Lolyam, ardent longing or greed. Sabdbhi, by 6. Bhakti, devotional service. Vinasyati, is destroyed. I'll read the translation. One's devotional service is spoiled when one becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than is necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that may be very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and not working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievement. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurlan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this verse is the second verse of the Nectar of Instruction. Now, a few weeks ago, I would have presented a class to you on the first verse of the Nectar of Instruction. Who can tell me what the first verse talks about? Sorry, the teacher in me never dies. All right, it's a very good lesson for us, isn't it? Yes, Prabhu. Mhm. Very good, thank you. Now, like I was saying, at least we have one devotee who's remembered what we spoke about. But maybe a very good idea is to perhaps carry a little notebook when you listen in a lecture. You know, this mind of ours is so difficult to control, and you'll see after today's class why I'm saying this, that may become important sometimes to write down things that we have learned and heard in a lecture. Otherwise, what is the point of the next 1 hour? You sit here, it goes in here, and by the time you've gone to Prasad, you've forgotten what we've said. So how do we put into practice what we've heard? And what we hear is important because it is the lesson that we have to take from it. So much of our Krishna consciousness is about how to live practically. The Acharyas gave us many rules and regulations. And when we listen to a class, that is the opportunity to take ourselves into the correct way of doing things. And to do that, we must remember. So it'd be nice sometimes. And then don't just write down. Now and then open that little book and read through it so that we remind ourselves. You know how when you have children in school and they're having a test, so they come, "Mommy, Daddy, please help me remember." So you have to help yourself remember by going through those notes that you make and you take in a class. And you are effecting them practically in the way you live. So the first verse focuses on controlling the urges of the tongue, the urges of the belly, and of the genitals. Now, very interestingly, the second verse is actually very critical in understanding what the first verse asked us to do also. And hopefully in this class we'll be able to get to the point where I explain that. So in the verse, we are given a set of what we should not do. So, in the Shastras, we have what we call prescriptions and we have prohibitions. So what are prescriptions? When you go to the doctor, what does he do? He prescribes medicine. What does that mean? What you should take, right? What is prohibitions? What you shouldn't do, right? So when you go to the doctor, and Srila Prabhupada uses this example quite often, the doctor will give you, in diagnosing your condition and helping you, he'll tell you what you should do, and that will be the medication that you take. But he'll also tell you what you shouldn't do. For example, if you've had a bypass, the doctor will say to you, from now onwards, these are the medications you have to take every day. But the doctor will also tell you, don't eat fried food. Stay away from foods that are fatty. So he's giving you what will cure you, but at the same time he's telling you what else will make that situation better. Now in the Shastra, these two concepts are very strong, and the Acharyas give us these two concepts. And they are known as Vidihi and Nisheds. So Vidihis are all the things we should do. And the Nisheds are all the things we shouldn't do. So most of the scripture actually has instructions of what to do and what not to do. And all of these instructions lead to the two supreme instructions. What is the most important vidihi and the most important nishedh? Do we know what those are? In Krishna consciousness, we speak about the most important, the golden rule. What is it? No prashad until we get the right answers today. What is the golden rule? What is all our activities meant to come to? Excellent. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. So the supreme vidihi, or the supreme prescription, is always remember Krishna. And together with that, we have the supreme nishedh, which is never forget Krishna. So all the instructions given to us by the acharyas are designed to bring us to that point of always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna. Now, are these two statements the same? Always remember Krishna and never forget him. How many of you believe their statements are the same? Good. Who thinks these statements are not the same? Some of us don't know what we think. Right. Technically speaking, they appear to be the same, but there's a very distinct difference. When we speak of the vidihi, which is always remember Krishna, that is spiritual practice, right? All of our spiritual practices are designed to help us remember Krishna. But when we speak of the nishedhs, the things we aren't allowed to do, those are not spiritual in nature. So the nishedhs are telling us how to prevent ourselves from not being able to practice the vidihis. So we're telling you what not to do in order for you to do what you should. And Srila Prabhupada writes of a fabulous purport, very extensive purport for this verse, which we may not have time to read through entirely in this lecture. But I will give you the key points of Srila Prabhupada's purport, and we'll try and discuss those. So the first thing we see is Srila Prabhupada starts his purport with, human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. Plain living and high thinking, right? Sometimes we say simple living and higher thinking. So unlike Srila Prabhupada's commentaries in his other books, in the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada starts from a very broad description and understanding. And this is because this book, this little book, is actually very easy to distribute. Now, those of us who have been trying to distribute books, you'll know that. Sometimes people are very afraid of the size of the book, correct? So they'll tell you, I'll take one small one. So in the small book of these few verses, Srila Prabhupada takes the opportunity to put in sort of the context of Krishna consciousness. So he starts his purport by telling us simple living and higher thinking. And Srila Prabhupada points out to us a very important point. He says the Lord has three potencies. He has an internal potency, he has a marginal potency, and he has an external potency. And as jivatmas, as spirit souls, we belong in the marginal potency. So if I'm going to give you a diagram, this is the internal potency, this is the external potency, and we belong in the middle. Now, the jivatma, the soul, has to be controlled either by the internal potency or by the external potency. Who is the controller of both these potencies? The Supreme Lord. But with the internal potency, when you are influenced by the internal potency, then we display our natural constitutional position, which is to be a servant of Krishna. But Krishna takes the marginal potency and he gives the responsibility to who? Who controls the material energy? Mahamaya, right? When we refer to Mahamaya, we refer to the illusionary nature of the material world. So as Jivatma is sitting in the middle, we cannot sit on the fence, right? Dangerous place to sit on the fence. You have to either be controlled by the external potency, or you have to be directed by the internal potency. So Srila Prabhupada is telling us here that those who worship the Lord, who practice devotional service, they fall under the influence of the internal potency. And that becomes the true constitutional position that you display. And Srila Prabhupada refers to individuals who are able to do this as a Mahatma. On the other side, if we are influenced by the external potency, the material world, the material energy, then we become what we call Duratma, right? Cripple-minded, because our focus is on the material world, which is meant to keep us in bondage. Now, Mahamaya's responsibility is to give us what? Suffering, right? It's to give us suffering. So as spirit souls, we are trapped in this material existence and we keep undergoing birth, death, disease, old age. So here, we are given the instruction of how to move away from that external potency of Mahamaya and move towards the internal potency, and that is service to the Supreme Lord. So Srila Prabhupada says in his purport here, he says, indeed, all living entities within this material world are under the control of Mahamaya, whose business is to subject them to the influence of threefold miseries: Adidevika Klesha, sufferings from the demigods, such as droughts, earthquakes, and storms; Adibhautika Klesha, sufferings caused by other living entities, like insects and enemies; and Adhyatmika Klesha, sufferings caused by one's own body and mind, such as mental and physical infirmities. Deva Bhutama Hetva, the conditioned souls, are subjected to these three miseries by the control of the external energy, and they suffer various difficulties. The main problem confronting conditional souls is the repetition of birth, death, and disease with old age. In the material world, one has to work for the maintenance of the body and soul. But how can one perform such work in a way that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness? Everyone requires possessions such as food, grains, clothing, money, and other things necessary for the maintenance of the body. But one should not collect more than is necessary for his actual basic needs. If this natural principle is followed, there'll be no difficulty in maintaining the body. So Srila Prabhupada is telling us, because we're existing within this material world, and we came here by our own doings, correct? Because we wanted to be lords over material nature. So in doing so, we must now then suffer through these various difficulties that Srila Prabhupada outlines in the purport. But Srila Prabhupada also helps us recognize, because we live in the material world, there will be requirements that we have to live in the material world. Now, how to do that? How to have food grains, how to have money, how to sustain ourselves without endeavoring for the wrong things, right? So therefore, the first instruction here, which says, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. The word referred to here is ati ahara. Now, ati means more than. And ahara can refer to two things. It can refer to food or it can refer to wealth, right? So what are we saying? Should we not eat? If we don't, are we going to be existing? No. Srila Prabhupada gives a lovely example. He says, if you leave a bag of grains out, the birds and animals will come, they will eat enough until they are full, and they will leave. But the human will come, and he'll take the entire bag of grain away with him. He will eat, and he will store. So this is the nature that we have, that in many instances, we over-endeavor, and we are not conscious of our over-endeavor. So how do we understand this practically? Practically speaking, we need to consider what it is we need for our survival, right? Now, everyone's needs are different. The householder's need is different from the brahmachari, is different. One householder's need may be different from someone else. You know, I have children who are going to university, so that may be my financial difficulty. Someone may have someone who is ill at home. So everyone has to endeavor to the point where their basic lives are sustained. And Srila Prabhupada is telling us that is okay, that one must endeavor so that we have enough to survive our lives. The problem becomes when we want to have enough to survive and to store and for the future and some more, right? And I was listening to a lovely class and they gave the example. And maybe I'll use a Mataji's because they'll understand. And the speaker said, do you know how? In your conscious mind, you know, if you have 5 saris, it's okay, right? If you come into a temple 2 times in the week, that's 1 sari, 2 saris, 3 still available to wear. But when we see there's some sale somewhere, what are we doing? 5 will become 10, 10 will become 15, 15 will become 20, right? So that over-endeavoring is dangerous. Srila Prabhupada tells us over-endeavoring can change or switch the mind's focus. Also, the Supreme Lord has provided enough, and Srila Prabhupada gives that example of world hunger. He says, if we follow the principles taught in the scripture, there will be no world hunger. But it is from the over-endeavoring, and I'm going to use a word now associated with over-endeavoring, I'm going to call it greed. It's from material greed that there is suffering in the world. So we have to become what we call yukta ahara. Yukta ahara is the opposite, because we endeavor for that which can be connected to Krishna. So sometimes Supreme Lord will provide for us all of these wonderful things. We should see all of these objects as Krishna's mercy. So, you know, by some nice mercy of the Lord, you're driving the BMW. By some nice mercy of the Lord, you're living in a very wealthy upmarket area. Those, if they are perceived as objects of the Lord's mercy, and then they are used in the service of the Lord, then that becomes yukta ahara. So over-endeavoring has that difficult situation of taking you away from being focused on what is important in terms of maintaining your body, and it takes you towards moving more and more into material contamination. We often talk about wanting to keep up with the Joneses. Do you know what this expression means? So we see someone wearing something and we're like, oh, I want one like that. We see our neighbor having put up new, painted and did an extension, and then we want to be like that. That nature is quite strong with us in this material world. So Srila Prabhupada points out that we need to move away from that. And why do we also need to move away from that? Because he says that in the next instruction. He says, collecting and eating more than necessary causes prayasa, or unnecessary endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if he has some land, milk, and a cow. There's no need for man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood, for one can produce grains locally, get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Fortunately, man has been given higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, or the understanding of God, one's relationship with him, and the ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized man, not caring for God realization, utilize their intelligence to get more than is necessary and simply to satisfy the tongue. Now, we can put this very, very nicely in one statement. When there's more time for Maya, there's less time for Krishna. And over-endeavoring means we're going beyond what we need for our basic means of survival. And over-endeavoring has the very dangerous side of it in that it will take you into more association with the worldly individuals, which Srila Prabhupada now covers in the next instruction. So Srila Prabhupada says, over-endeavoring leads to lolium. Now, lolium means greed, right? Somehow, we don't seem to ever have enough. I was saying that to my Prabhu the other day. I said, the Department of Education just gave us an increase, but how is it that we still end up with the same deficit at the end of the month? Isn't that true about our lives? That somehow what we get is never enough. And because it's never enough, we then have to spend more time and energy executing all of these material activities, earning money, finding ways to survive. And when we execute more time in the material world, we are executing less time in our spiritual activities. So over-endeavoring leads to greed, and greed leads us away from time for spiritual activities and more into material activities. So Srila Prabhupada says, human life is meant for God realization, and the human being is given high intelligence for this purpose alone. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said at the beginning of the purport, simple living and higher thinking. This goal is important. Now, you must be thinking, Mataji, we are all devotees. Why are you telling this to us? We know this already. But we have to understand that we are practicing devotees. We have not reached the stage of being Mahatmas and pure devotees. So we are still living in that shadow of material to be contaminated by material energy. So when we hear this instruction, we have to take stock. And I like this term, take stock. What do you do when we take stock? We count, we check, we analyze, isn't it? So you have to be constantly taking stock of your life. Now we can do a debit and credit system, if you know anything about accounting, right? All your Krishna conscious activities are your debits. Oh, sorry, wrong, the other way around. All your Krishna conscious activities are your credits. And all your material activities are your debits. So think quickly, if you had to put all your debits there, and you're going to put all your credits there, honestly speaking, which side is more? The debit side. So by virtue of the fact that we can admit that our lives are essentially focused primarily on living this material life, we can recognize that this instruction is also for us. It's very important as practicing devotees that we take that into account. Going to the third thing that we are warned about in the verse, Srila Prabhupada says, another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding like croaking toads. Srila Prabhupada always gave the most amazing examples. He says, if we must talk, we should talk about Krishna consciousness and the Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retire from active life, play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. So, for devotees, mostly when we hear this word prajalpa, we associate it with speaking about other devotees. Srila Prabhupada clarifies that it goes beyond that. Now, it works hand in hand with what we just said. The more time we have to spend in the material world, the more time we will associate with people who are materially minded, right? And that comes in the following instruction about whose company we should keep. Now, in Hindi, we have an expression. We say, Jaisa rang, vaisa sang. Do you know what that means? I'll give you the English version. Not loosely translated, the English version is this. Basically, the company you keep is what you will become. Right? So here, Srila Prabhupada is telling us, if we keep the company of those individuals who are not like-minded in Krishna consciousness, then we will spend time talking about unnecessary things. For example, who won the match yesterday? So now you're not going to tell me, but I'm certain, and I saw some of your statuses, celebrating Bafana Bafana. There's no harm in some of those activities. The trick is in managing to understand where the priority activity is, right? So if we're spending all our time talking about non-Krishna conscious topics, then how are we expecting ourselves to develop and to make progress spiritually? So this leads to a very important concept, and it covers one of the other points made, is association with worldly-minded peoples, jnana sangha. To speak about Krishna consciousness, you have to speak to Krishna conscious individuals. And this tells us the importance of sadhu sangha. When we keep the company of like-minded people, then we strengthen ourselves in our Krishna consciousness. And when we strengthen our minds and ourselves on Krishna consciousness, then naturally we'll be inclined to do Krishna conscious activity. And when we do Krishna conscious activity, then our credits are increasing and our debits are decreasing. And that is what we want. We have to exist within the material world. You know, we're not saying we got to give all this up, find a mountain, go to the Drakensberg somewhere, meditate, find yourself. No. The important thing that we have to remember, that we have to practice, is our ability we have to practice Krishna consciousness within the material world. And you know, the most wonderful thing about Krishna consciousness is it can be given so easily. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada always tells us, when you have something good, you should give it to others. And I remember saying this to you once, the more you give, the more you get by way of mercy and blessings. So living in this material world is a horrible bargain, but we chose to be here, but we also have control over how we live, right? And you, like I said at the beginning of this class, you being here today shows that you are building your credits, because you had choice to be anywhere. You could be in the bar right now, you could be at the beach. Those worldly activities draw us away from maintaining our true purpose, and that is to serve the Supreme Lord. So well done to you that you are here. This is building your spiritual credit. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us that instruction. We should not associate with the worldly-minded people, because worldly-minded people will talk about worldly things. And worldly-minded people do not focus their intelligence on Krishna. Whereas if we associate with those who focus their minds on Krishna, then we too will develop that habit. So it's very important to choose your company, all right? Sometimes it's unavoidable. We are at work, we interact with different people, but you are in control of how much that interaction influences you, okay? So we can meet someone, and by virtue of our example as a devotee, by virtue of our understanding of Krishna consciousness, they will have the opportunity to benefit from that interaction. And that is the gold standard. When you meet someone, you should be the influence, not the other way around. So when we choose our company, you know, they say you must choose your company well. That's what we mean. Good association, good sadhu sangha will develop a better credit system for you. The next point given to us is niyama graha. Now, niyama means following rules and regulations. And the word agraha can be, it's actually two references, agraha and agraha. In Sanskrit, there's a slight difference in the pronunciation. So Srila Prabhupada tells us, niyamagraha has a twofold meaning that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic advancement, but they should accept scriptural rules and regulations for advancements in Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulatory principles by avoiding illicit sex, meat-eating, gambling, and intoxication. One should avoid the association of Mayavadis who simply blaspheme the devotees. So Srila Prabhupada is telling us there's a distinction between following rules and regulations just for the sake of it, and following it for spiritual progress. So what's an example that many of us may do? You may be a vegetarian, right? But so are hundreds of other people vegetarian. So what's the difference between that vegetarian and you? Your practice of vegetarianism comes from your understanding of how to make spiritual progress through the process of vegetarianism. Their understanding of vegetarianism may be, I simply don't like to kill animals, therefore I will not eat. So following the rules and regulations are very important. More importantly, one should do them in the progress of spiritual life. So, there's a nice imagery that I saw actually in the beginning of an edition of a Bible. And in that imagery, there's a man climbing and there's heaven up above. And he says, each psalm recited is a step towards heaven. Now, if we take that to understand what we're talking about today in class, every time we make spiritual progress, that's one step closer we are to going back to Godhead. It may not be this lifetime, it may not be many lifetimes, but if you don't start and you don't keep moving, then it's going to take that much longer. So, association, following the rules, not over-endeavoring, these are all key things that Srila Prabhupada points out in this verse. So, I'm going to be the teacher in the last few minutes. Can someone tell me, what are the key ideas that you have taken away from this class today? Even if you can give me one idea. Choose your association wisely. Good. Why? Very good. Someone else? Yes, Mata? Be Krishna conscious all the time. Yes, wonderful point. And to be Krishna conscious all the time, we have to follow these rules. Now, before I close up, interestingly, in this verse we are told not what not to do. In the next verse, we are told what to do. Now, see how Rupa Goswami has prioritized what not to do. Because sometimes we don't realize that our practice of Krishna consciousness is like lighting the fire. And our practice of all these worldly things is like pouring the water on it. So by virtue of the fact that this verse comes before saying all of the things we should do, it tells us how to prepare our context so that we are able to do all of the things that are recommended. All right? So I hope that you will go back, that you will read Nectar of Instruction again, and that we'll put into practice some of the things that we've said today so that we are building our spiritual credits. Srila Prabhupada ki. So, if there are any questions before I hand you over to Vraj Kishore Prabhu from the book table. Questions, no questions mean I've done a very good job, I've done a terrible job because you don't understand. But if you do have questions, first port of call, read Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhu, I'll hand over to you now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. So thank you for coming to the Sunday program, and I'm sure you can all say a big thank you to Her Grace Jalangi Mataji for such a beautiful and amazingly interesting class as she always does. So let's give her a round of applause. I don't wish to keep you long, just two announcements. For those of you who were not here last week, we did the annual book awards. It's unfortunate that you were not here, and understandably so, you may have had some other commitments. I'm just going to take a minute to read out your name because you may not know whether you participated or not, or whether you were eligible to a prize. So I'll go through it very quickly, and then at the end of the program, if you could come to the back book table, and I'll hand you your certificate and whatever other prize that goes with it. So the first one is Kasturi Kripa Manjari Devidasi, Vaikunta Nayak Das, Paramasundari Devidasi, Kaldan Pillai, Vedvyas Das, Premdan Das, Naveen Krishna Das, Rishen, Ishvara Puri Das, Ramsaran Das, Shankarsan Das, Vasudev Das, Sadhu Seva Das, I think it's Bhakti and Dominique, Asit Shikar, Rambhadra Das, Namaruchi Dasi, Arai Madhanjit, Narisha Mataji, Charan Renu Devidasi, Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj, Shalin Sarisha Bala, I think it's Balakisun, Janava Kripa Devidasi, and Krishna Prasad Rambaran Prabhu. So if you could kindly see me at the end of the program at the back table, and I'll issue those certificates. And the second announcement is about the BTGs. So thank you, devotees, for being committed to subscribing to the annual, to the monthly BTG, which many of you have done over the years so generously. It keeps the temple afloat. It's that revenue that the temple needs so that it can stay and run on a day-to-day basis. So we want to encourage you to keep your subscriptions, and those of you who haven't signed up, please try to sign up onto one of the BTG subscriptions. However, you are aware that some of the government and parastatal organizations in this country are collapsing, and the postage service has been one of those. And over the last year or so, the devotees have been trying to post your magazines to you, and we apologize because some of you have not been getting it, and some of it has been coming back to the temple. So it basically called for another plan of action, and this is what we've done. A lot of the devotees who are subscribing to the magazines are regular attendees at the program. So what we've done is separated the magazines, and we're starting with the back order from last year, September and October. So that will be the first publication that we're going to issue, and then within the next few weeks, we'll go November, December, and then we'll be starting with the 2024, January, February. So within the next few weeks, we hope to push it out. So all we're asking is your indulgence and a little bit of patience on your part. If you go to the back, you'll see two tassels there. The devotees will help you. It's set alphabetically from A right up to V in the end. If you could maybe just stand in appropriate line. Unfortunately, we've set its surname order. So if your surname is Ramkilawan, then you will be in the R column. So it's not according to your first name. So if you could just maybe assemble there kindly and be patient about it, the devotees will just help you with those magazines. So thank you very much. And I think we're ready for the Aarti now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We'll have the Aarti ceremony and followed by Prasad thereafter, but very quickly, quite a number of festivals that are coming up over the next few weeks. We have Advaita Acharya's appearance and then Nityananda's appearance. So if you would like to contribute towards those programs, you can see Achutapriya Mataji in the gift shop. Also, Ratha Yatra is already on the way in full-scale planning. So if you are willing to assist there, both service and otherwise, you can see the devotees at the back table. Their Lordships Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shishi Nitai Gaura Sundar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नामिने नमः। बोलो 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 बोलो। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Ja Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Re. E Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Re. E Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Jai Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana. Nana Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Re Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Re. Hey Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Re. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, निठाई गौर सुंदर की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna, just a reminder to you to please pick up your BTGs, the devotees will help you. Also, there's an announcement from Govindas. They're having a Valentine special, so the right way to spend the day is with them. There's a sumptuous 4-course meal for 225 Rand a person. Govindas is also the means by which we support the temple. So if you are able to join us on the 14th, please do so. And we're also making an appeal, if there are devotees who wish to sponsor our Love Feast programs or contribute towards it, you can also please see me downstairs. Srila Prabhupada ki. Also a reminder, Tuesday will be a Ekadasi, so you should make the necessary arrangements to observe.